Have you ever made a choice, felt totally sure about it, and then kind of wondered about it later? Well, what if I told you that how a question is asked can actually be more powerful than the facts themselves? Today, we are diving into something called the framing effect. It's this hidden force that quietly shapes our decisions every single day. Let's see just how deep it goes.
All right, to get things started, I want you to play along with me. Let's do a quick thought experiment. Don't think too hard about it, okay? There's no right or wrong answer here. Just go with your gut feeling. Ready?
Okay, here's the situation. A dangerous outbreak is coming, and it's expected to kill 600 people. You have to choose how to respond. Option A, you are guaranteed to save exactly 200 people. Option B, there's a 1 in 3 shot you save all 600, but a 2 in 3 shot you save no one. So which is it, A or B? Go ahead and pick one.
Got it? Okay, now let's hit reset. It's the exact same outbreak, 600 lives are still on the line. But this time, here are your choices. Program C, 400 people will die. That's a definite. Or Program D, there's a 1/3 probability that nobody dies and a 2/3 probability that all 600 people will die. What do you pick this time, C or D?
All right, here comes the twist. Let's look at the math. If you save 200 people out of 600, that means 400 people will die. So Program A and Program C are exactly the same outcome. And a 1/3 chance of saving everyone is the same thing as a 1/3 chance of 0 deaths. So B and D, also identical. Now, if you're like most people, you probably picked A the first time and D the second time. And if you did, don't worry, you just experienced a really powerful cognitive bias firsthand.
So what was that invisible little nudge that just guided your decision? Well, what you just felt is what psychologists call the framing effect. See, the framing effect taps into a really powerful quirk of our brains. We hate losing way more than we enjoy winning. The pain of a loss feels much, much stronger than the pleasure of an equal gain. So when a choice is framed as a gain, like saving people, we tend to play it safe. We don't want to risk it, we'll lock in that guaranteed win. But the moment that same exact choice is framed as a loss, people will die, that fear of loss kicks in. The certainty of a loss feels so awful that we suddenly become gamblers, willing to take a huge risk just for the small chance to avoid it. And you know, this isn't just some clever brain teaser. The scenario we just walked through is actually based on a legendary study from 1981 by 2 psychologists, Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman. These guys basically changed how we understand human decision-making. Let's take a look at what their research actually found. So here you can see the 2 frames right next to each other. The gain frame, saving 200 people. It feels good, it feels responsible, it's the safe, appealing choice. But the loss frame, knowing 400 people will die for sure, that feels like a complete failure. It pushes us away from the certainty and makes us want to roll the dice on a better outcome, even if it's a long shot. And the results from their experiment? I mean, they're just staggering. When the choice was presented in the positive gain frame, a huge 72% of people chose the safe bet, Program A. But when that exact same option was presented as a loss, only 22% of people chose it. That is a massive swing. It's a key part of what they called prospect theory. The big takeaway here is that how a choice feels to us often completely overpowers the pure logic. The frame itself becomes more persuasive than the facts inside it. Okay, so this is a really fascinating quirk of the human mind. But you might be thinking, does this really matter outside of a psychology lab? Oh, yeah, big time. Once you know what to look for, you will start seeing the framing effect absolutely everywhere, from the aisles of the grocery store to the headlines on the news. I mean, think about it. You're at the store. A label that says 90% fat-free sounds pretty healthy, right? But a label that says contains 10% fat on the very same product suddenly sounds like something you should probably avoid. Or in healthcare, a doctor telling you a surgery has a 95% survival rate feels incredibly reassuring. But hearing it has a 5% mortality rate? That's terrifying. And we see this all the time in politics and the media. Is a new policy tax relief or a tax cut? Are the people on the street protesters or rioters? Every single word is a frame, and it's chosen specifically to shape how you feel.
So here's the big question. Are we just doomed to be puppets of framing? No, not at all. The good news is, just knowing this bias exists is the single biggest step to overcoming it. And there's actually a pretty simple mental checklist you can use to protect yourself and start thinking more clearly.
Here's your toolkit. First, whenever you're faced with a choice or a piece of information, just pause and ask yourself, okay, what's the frame here?
Is this being presented to me as a good thing or a bad thing? Second, and this is the most important part, actively reframe it yourself. Force your brain to state the opposite. That 95% survival rate immediately becomes a 5% death rate. That 90% fat-free yogurt is now 10% pure fat. Just doing that helps break the emotional spell. And finally, strip away all the emotional language and just look at the numbers. What are the cold, hard facts? This simple process helps you shift from reacting with your gut to responding with your head.
So from now on, you basically have a new superpower. You can spot the invisible architecture of persuasion that's built into ads, news headlines, and even just casual conversations. The real power isn't in trying to avoid frames. That's impossible. It's in seeing them for what they are. So the question I'll leave you with is this. Now that you can see the frame, how will you choose to see past it?